Hey, what's up? It's Mark, and here's what I look for in a multivitamin. So, multivitamin, I've heard the arguments, they're useless, they're expensive urine. Yeah, I get it all. Personally, for me and my decision with my health, I choose to take a multivitamin. I know there's times I don't get the proper amount of vegetables in my diet. I know there's times that I'm doing things that are maybe I'm exercising too much, maybe I'm stressed too much. These things kind of cause those nutrients to be drawn and used by my body. I feel much better when I know that I'm taking that one daily habit to kind of make sure I'm getting a multivitamin in to kind of cover off on my little potholes that I might have in my vitamin and mineral status. And I've run a ton of testing in my office on myself to make sure that, I don't indeed have those blind spots. So for me, I take a multi. And here's what I look for in a multi. Number one is how many servings do I need to take of this per day? So some multivitamins you'll see on the top of the label, they'll say you need 6 of these per day. You need 1 of these per day. You need 3 of these per day. For me personally, I'm a simple guy. I like as simple as possible. 1 to 2 servings or capsules per day is what I'm looking for. Second thing I look for is what type of multi is it? Is it a capsule? Is it a powder? Is it a tablet? Personally, for me, I prefer to have a capsule. It feels better swallowing it. It's way easier, I think. And for me, I can actually see the little tiny powder in there to make sure it's not been what's called oxidized. So I look for a capsule from when I personally choose a multivitamin. Next thing I look for is the vitamin and mineral content of the multivitamin. So first and foremost, I'm looking for activated versions of B vitamins. So on the label, you'll see that there's a whole bunch of words that are B vitamins. You'll see this says niacin, you'll see it says riboflavin, you'll see it says pantothenic acid, all these different words. I'm looking for the biologically active versions of B vitamins. So you might see those as things like methylfolate, methylcobalamin. You'll see pyridoxine 5-phosphate for activated B6. I'm looking for these things to make sure that when I put that vitamin in my mouth, I'm getting the biologically active version of that nutrient inside of my body so that I don't have to do any work to use it. Okay? Next thing I'm looking for is the type of mineral magnesium. So most times magnesium is that mineral that's going to be found inside of a multivitamin, but the version sucks. So I'm looking for something like magnesium glycinate. I'm looking like even something like magnesium citrate. I'm looking at magnesium that's a good quality version that gets used by the body. If I see magnesium oxide or anything like that, that's kind of like not really a highly absorbed version, I'm out. Simple as that. Third thing I'm looking for is does it have vitamin D? So I like a multivitamin to have around 1,000 international units of vitamin D per day. If it doesn't, not the end of the world for me because I take that on my own, but I'm looking for it to have at least a little bit of vitamin D. Next one is, does it have calcium? And if so, what type? So again, the unwanted biological versions, I'm not interested in those. So if I see a very poor version of calcium, I'm out. So for me, I like calcium glycinate. There's a couple other versions that I really look for on the label. The next one is, does it have iron? So this is a topic that you might want to talk about with your doctor, because if you're anemic or having low iron, you might need iron inside of your routine. If you're very inflamed, adding iron could be like adding gasoline to a fire. Not the best thing for you to be adding to your routine. Sometimes that can make your inflammation worse. So a lot of times that I'm choosing a multivitamin, for me, I'm looking for a multivitamin that does not have iron in it. Again, there's versions that do, but I'm looking for a version that doesn't have iron in it. And the last one is going to be the trace minerals. So trace minerals are those things that we find, like little things like copper and selenium and molybdenum and all these little different words that you don't really see commonly on your label. They sometimes have like you don't get those from a whole lot of foods. And remember, they're called trace minerals for a reason. You don't need a ton of them. You need a small bit of them. So I'm looking for, do they have trace minerals or not in them? So that's what I'm looking for when I'm looking at a multivitamin. I see so many people looking at multivitamin, and the first thing to look for is the cost. How many capsules do I get, and what's the cost? So if I can get 240 capsules for $30, I'm in. But if you're telling me I'm going to have to pay $40 for 60 capsules, well, why is it so much more expensive? Well, part of the reason is the quality. So I'm not interested in putting junk inside of my body. I'm not interested in having a multivitamin just to make an expensive pee. I'm not interested in that. Remember, for me, I'm interested in filling in the little potholes that might be there in my nutritional status throughout the day. But I want the multivitamin, when I add it to my routine, to go right to work. And that's the thing that separates the cost. So for me, I'm okay with paying a little bit more money for a higher quality product because I know the benefits I'll derive from that. Whereas if you look at some of the products on the market, again, lots of serving size, big serving size, low cost, but the quality of what's in there is absolute crap. So unfortunately, there might need to be a change to your multivitamin if you are indeed one of those people that's kind of saying, my multivitamin doesn't do anything for me. I don't feel any better when I take this. Well, that might be because you're not taking the right one. So down below, I'm going to put a list of the 2 that I recommend to my clients the most and the one I take directly every single day to make sure my vitamin and mineral status is covered. Multivitamins, I know it's one of those controversial subjects. I know you've read all the stuff that I have saying multivitamins are useless. For me personally, I make the decision to take a multivitamin. If you don't make that same decision, that's okay. But for me, I'd rather have my blind spots covered to make sure I'm doing everything I can for my health to keep me feeling wicked throughout the day. So that's what I look for in a multivitamin. See ya.